Hi there, you're watching Nightline and I'm Zahir, Kelvin Abdullah. The top stories: government to eradicate all forms of deviant threats right to their roots. And Zionist regime and Hezbollah on the brink of all-out war. We begin Nightline with news from the foreign front. Israel and Hezbollah traded fire on Tuesday, a day after the Zionist military launched a wave of airstrikes into Lebanon that have killed at least 558 people so far, fanning fears of an all-out war. Lebanon's health ministry reported that at least 6 people, including a Hezbollah commander identified as Ibrahim Kubaisi, were killed in an Israeli strike on the southern Beirut suburb of Gorberi. The Zionist military, which reportedly hit a 5-story building in the usually busy neighborhood, announced the targeted strike, the second in the area in as many days, but gave no details. The regime also said that it targeted dozens of Hezbollah targets in several areas in southern Lebanon overnight. In response, Hezbollah launched a barrage of rockets against Israeli air bases, including the Megiddo airfield near northern Afula and on and on an explosive factory about 60 kilometers into Israel. More than 50 projectiles were fired from Lebanon into northern Israel, but Israel claimed that the majority of them were intercepted. Now, despite the country's deadliest day in decades, the Lebanese remain undeterred, believing that victory would be on their side in the war against the Zionist regime.
نحن منتظرين النصر بإذن الله، لأنه نحن طول ما حدنا جار مثل إسرائيل ما حتنام أنت ومطمن بالموضوع. فنحن يعني دائما لازم نكون بقوة ردع ضد هيدا العدو الغاشم اللي ما بيعرف لا طفل يفرق بين طفل وبين مرأة وبين شيخ وبين مكون. نحن عم نتعاطى معه مثل ما هو عم يتعاطى معنا. ونحن ان شاء الله منصورين باذن الله. بتصير شغله باي منطقه بلبنان بتلاقي ابن الشمال بيفتح له بيته، ابن الجبل بيفتح له بيته، ابن الشرقيه بيفتح له بيته، ابن الجنوب، لانه هذه صارت فيها حاله انسانيه، بس هذا عدو بده يحاربك بكل وسائل، بكل جميع الوسائل بده يحاربك، بجوع، اقتصاد، بكل شيء بده يحاربك ليرقعك، انه نركع، نحن ما بنركع الا وقت الصلاه، وقت الصلاه بنركع، ما بنرفع راسنا، ما بنوطي راسنا الا لرب العالمين.
Meanwhile, the European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, on Monday said that the escalation between Lebanon's Hezbollah and the Zionist regime is almost a full-fledged war. Citing the increasing number of civilian casualties and the intensity of military strikes, he stated that the situation is extremely dangerous and worrying.
The catastrophe continues. And escalation in Lebanon is extremely dangerous and worrying. I was in Lebanon some days before, just before the explosion of these electronic devices has been creating terror among the Lebanese population. Escalation is extremely dangerous and worrying. I can say that we are almost in a full-fledged war. And despite the warning signal, I think we are still hoping and working to stop this escalation. But the worst scenario, I have to say it, is materializing.
He stressed that efforts to reduce tensions were ongoing, but Europe's worst fears about a spillover were becoming a reality. He also condemned the Zionist regime strikes, adding that strong diplomatic mediation efforts were needed to prevent a full-blown war. In the meantime, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights on Tuesday called on anyone with influence in the Middle East or elsewhere to seek to avert any further escalation in hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah, voicing alarm at the sharp escalation. Its spokesperson, Ravina Shamdasani, also urged world leaders meeting in New York for the UN General Assembly to prioritize bringing the conflict to an end.
The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, calls on all states and actors with influence in the region and beyond to avert further escalation and to do everything they can to ensure full respect for international law. This is not normal, and this needs to stop. The High Commissioner is calling for an immediate de-escalation. The United Nations General Assembly is meeting. World leaders are gathering in New York. They need to prioritize bringing this conflict to an end.
On the home front, serious and coordinated action by the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia JAKIM and enforcement agencies is crucial in eradicating all forms of deviant threats right to their roots. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim emphasized that the government takes seriously all ideologies and movements that deviate from the beliefs of Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The matter was highlighted in a post on Anwar's Facebook page on Tuesday following his meeting with JAKIM to discuss several matters related to Islamic affairs in Malaysia. In the posting, the Prime Minister also reaffirmed the unity government's commitment to combat all forms of deviant teachings and ideologies that could undermine the true tenets of Islam and affect the faith as well as religious practices of Muslims in the country. So far, police are still actively conducting their massive crackdown known as Op Global, which has been expanded to every state in addition to gathering evidence before submitting it to the Attorney General's chambers. The operation is targeted on premises and businesses linked to Global Ikhwan Services and Business Holdings Sindiran Berhad, GISBH, which is currently in the spotlight for alleged criminal acts including claims of cult-like practices, human trafficking, exploitation, as well as sexual and physical abuse of children. In the meantime, the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry, KPDN, is currently reviewing the registration of GISBH and its subsidiary companies. Its Minister, Dato' Amizan Muhammad Ali, stated that the review is being conducted by the Companies Commission of Malaysia, SSM, and the company could face deregistration if it is found to have violated public interest or current regulations.
Pada peringkat ini, siasatan utama itu dilakukan oleh PDRM dan kita melihat daripada aspek pematuhan kepada Undang-Undang Tadbir Urus Syarikat dan kita bekerjasama rapat dengan PDRM untuk melengkapkan siasatan, membantu PDRM apa-apa perkara yang terkait dengan akta di bawah bidang kuasa SSM.
Amizan also said that his ministry is collaborating with the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) to monitor the online promotion of products related to GISBH through digital or other mediums. He added that if there were any violations, the ministry would file an official report with MCMC for appropriate action to be taken. Now, police continued the Op Global raids on Tuesday, focusing on premises linked to GISBH in Kelantan and several other states. In Pasir Puteh, a welfare home and school in Gong Kulim, operated by the company, was stormed by police in the morning, where various materials related to the banned Aurat Muhammadiyah teachings and the outlawed Al-Aqam movement were discovered. The 9 a.m. raid involved over 50 personnel from the police, as well as the State Department of Islamic Affairs and the Kelantan Islamic and Malay Customs Council. It is understood that more than 60 people had been occupying the welfare home and school. Police were forced to break down the doors of the premises, which were left vacant with all entrances locked, as the occupants were believed to have fled after police conducted a raid at another location in Kampong Panji, Kota Baru on Saturday. During the raid, police also found a number of materials and publications related to Aurat Muhammadiyah and Al-Aqam hidden in a storage room at the welfare home. More than 500 chickens were also left in a coop in the area. However, 10 horse stables at the location have also been emptied and the animals are believed to have been moved to another site. Last Saturday, authorities discovered numerous books associated with the teachings and doctrines of GISBH buried near a river when police raided 3 homes linked to the company in Kampong Panji. Some of the books were also burned at the site. Meanwhile, Seremban City Council MBS issued 24 compounds and seized business items from restaurants allegedly linked to GISBH in Seremban Dua on Tuesday. Seremban Mayor Datuk Masri Razali stated that inspections conducted at 6 premises revealed that all were not operational. Only one of the premises has a valid license, while 4 were unlicensed and another had an expired license. The owners were also found to have carried out illegal renovations. 7 other premises owned by the company in Banda Enstek, Nilai, are still under MBS monitoring. The process of evaluating the children rescued from premises linked to GISBH in various aspects of education is expected to take some time. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq stated that the assessment includes their background, educational level, as well as psychosocial factors.
Jadi selepas beberapa fasa assessment itu, kita akan tentukan sama ada mereka boleh kembali bersekolah bersama dengan arus perdana ataupun bersama dengan anak-anak lain.
Fadlina added that the evaluation conducted by officials from the Education Ministry MOE is critical to determine whether the children would be given formal education or provided with special modules to ensure no one falls behind. On Monday, Fadlina said that the MOE is assuming responsibility for the education of the over 300 children effective October 1st. She also said that the education program will be carried out for 2 months and extended to the following month if necessary. In another development, Fadlina said that the MOE has issued guidelines last month requiring teachers to obtain written consent from parents or guardians before recording and sharing images, videos or audio of students on social media. She said that the move aims to tackle sexual harassment in schools and safeguard students.
Kita sangat mengambil berat tentang isu kebenaran ini kerana kita tidak mahu ia menjadi isu besar, isu kebenaran, isu keselamatan khususnya di kalangan kanak-kanak. Jadi akan ada proses kebenaran daripada ibu bapa sekiranya ada program-program ataupun konten-konten pendidikan yang melibatkan anak-anak.
She added that the guidelines apply to all parties and not just teachers in order to ensure caution when featuring students. Previously, the MOE informed schools in a circular dated August 21st about using parental declaration letters for consent to record and post content featuring students on social media. This decision is aligned with the ministry's guidelines on values and ethics of social media use issued on October 4th last year. It also adheres with the Public Officers Conduct and Discipline Regulations, which prohibits public servants from sharing content involving school administrators, teachers, students, parents or guardians without permission. The Finance Ministry and Education Ministry are set to launch the Anak Kita program on Friday, which aims to reduce student dropout rates across the country. The program will be conducted using a comprehensive whole-of-nation approach that involves various government departments and agencies. In a joint statement, the ministry said that the program focuses on boosting literacy and numeracy skills among students, increasing Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM pass rates, and reincorporating dropouts back into the education system. The Education Ministry will be implementing reforms to tackle student dropout rates through 6 key pathways, including realigning the preschool system and introducing curriculum interventions. The program also includes targeted interventions such as remedial classes, teacher training and the use of digital learning tools. It is also part of the government strategy to uplift the people's standard of living, which aligns with the Madani economy framework. The ringgit has surged to its highest level since late December 2021 following a rally in the Chinese yuan after the country's central bank announced broad stimulus measures. On Tuesday, the ringgit jumped 0.7% to 4.171 against the US dollar, marking it as the best performing currency in the region this year. This was also the ringgit's highest closing level since November 11, 2021. It also performed strongly against other major currencies. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afzan Nizam Abdul Rashid noted that the lower domestic inflation rate of 1.9% will help the ringgit extend its gains against the US dollar. This is in addition to the stimulus package announced by China, which has boosted investor confidence. Singapore ex-minister pleads guilty in graft trial. This and more from the Foreign Front when Nightline returns.
Kau je dah 100 kg. Aku ni dah 100 kg. 200 kg tak payah nak terbang-terbang ni. Aku dah cuba lama dah tak naik-naik.
Kenapa kampung kita tiba-tiba kena serang perdana?
Saya tahu macam mana nak selesaikan masalah.
Ini kalau jaring saiz S ni, Maya Karim boleh lah terangkat. Aku lambat lagi.
Kekal cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Orang kata sabar itu indah. Sampai bila dan situasi bagaimana kita harus bersabar. Menu masakan Kelantan antara pembuka selera. Ikan beko, budu, gula kawah dan macam-macam lagi. Ambil tahu ataupun timbang rasa. Ini yang semakin hilang dalam kalangan masyarakat kita. Lafaz tak klik, apa yang perlu kita ketahui? Jom kita bincangkan bersama-sama. Perkahwinan antara imajinasi ataupun realiti. Jom kita cari titik tengah untuk bahagia menanti. Semuanya di Wanita Hari Ini TV3 dan stream di Tonton.
News from the Foreign Front now. Singapore's former Transport Minister S. Iswaran on Tuesday pleaded guilty to accepting gifts worth thousands of dollars while in office after months of strenuously denying the charges against him. 62-year-old Iswaran admitted to 4 counts of obtaining valuable items as a public servant under Section 165 of the Penal Code and 1 count of obstructing the course of justice. He was accused of accepting more than $300,000 in gifts from 2 businessmen, property tycoon Dato' Ong Beng Seng and Lam Kok Seng, a man with strong ties to grassroots organisations in Iswaran's former electoral ward. Justice Vincent Hung said Iswaran would be sentenced on October 3rd. Iswaran, best known in Singapore for bringing the Formula One night race to the city-state, was the first political office holder in Singapore in almost 4 decades to face trial for corruption. Sri Lanka's new leftist president appointed his cabinet on Tuesday ahead of an expected snap parliamentary election as he prepares to renegotiate the bankrupt island nation's unpopular International Monetary Fund bailout program. His office announced the appointment of lawmaker Harini Amarasuriya as premier with the additional portfolios of justice, education, health and labour. She and the remaining 2 People's Liberation Front-aligned lawmakers will share all ministerial responsibilities between them and also act as caretaker ministers after Parliament is dissolved. Self-avowed Marxist Anura Kumara Disanayake of the People's Liberation Front was sworn into office on Monday after a landslide win in weekend presidential polls. The IMF congratulated the president, stating that it was ready to discuss the future of the rescue plan in a path to Sri Lanka's economic recovery. In Vietnam, 3 people were killed and more than 10,000 residents were forced to evacuate their homes after serious floodings on Tuesday. The 3 dead were reported in Nha Hien province as they were swept away in flash floods, while more than 11,700 people in Tan Hoa province had left their homes over the past 3 days in search for higher ground. Since Saturday, around 320 houses have been damaged, while more than 6,300 hectares of crops were destroyed. At least 40 school buildings in the area were flooded or damaged. Typhoon Yagi has left nearly 300 people dead in the country and caused $1.6 billion worth of damage. Romero's brace helps Velez beat Estudiantes. Sports right after this short break.
Korang tak nak lari ke?
Terang yang lari, kau dah fikir habis-habisan ke? Ini tengkok aku ke tengkok kau
Ada plot twist.
Learn strategies for staying ahead in the financial battlefield. Your key insights into finance, money matters every Saturday 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Hanya kerana berang si anak habiskan data internet, seorang wanita sanggup menimba air panas terhadap anak lelakinya.
Sebagai seorang ibu, saya tidak rasa tergamak untuk melakukan perkara berkenaan. OKT telah menarik rambut, memukul anak kandungnya tersebut menggunakan kerusi plastik dan juga papan setrika.
Menarik DMHI.
Kamera badan anggota polis menuju kepolisan moden.
Tawaran jualan organ harami memang banyak risikonya tertinjau dalam konteks undang-undang.
Kabar hari tua, cabaran ke arah status negara tua. Sudahkah bersedia?
Mencari jodoh di era digital yang nampaknya semakin popular, namun kenalah ada batasannya.
Soal wang, ekonomi dan pekerja gig memacu ekonomi negara.
Segalanya DMHI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat.
Juga stream melalui Tonton.
Sports now tennis, the 2024 Chengdu Open. Chinese teenager Shang Junchen won his maiden ATP career title when he overwhelmed top seed Lorenzo Musetti of Italy in straight sets on Tuesday night. The 19-year-old produced a stunning championship match performance to claim a 7-6, 6-1 win over the Olympic bronze medalist and become the first player born in 2005 or later to win an ATP Tour title. Shang, ranked 55th in the world, is also the second Chinese male player to win an ATP Tour title after Wu Yibing triumphed at the 2023 Dallas Open. Moving on to football, the Argentine Primera Division. Brian Romero scored a brace as Velez Sarsfield defeated Estudiantes 2-0 at home on Monday, furthering their lead in the league. The home side opened the scoring after just 12 minutes when Romero struck home from close range following Estudiantes' goalkeeper's mistake. Velez Sarsfield then put up constant threats in the second half, and Romero finally put the game to bed 3 minutes from time after slotting in Pizzini's lovely through ball. With a 2-0 victory, Velez sit on top of the league table with a 6-point margin ahead of second place Huracan. $17 arrested in 32 million ringgit investment scam. The details when we come back.
Awesome. Berat lah awak dah.
Kelakar gila. Lucu gila. Korean accents punya scene tu semua lawak.
Scene dia naik motor dengan Pontianak. Masa makan terapung atas meja tu, kau 200 kg tapi kau boleh terapung. Itu kelakar.
Yang dia menari-nari tu, lucu sangat. 10.
11. 9.5. 200 per 10 saya bagi.
I bagi 200 per 10.
Diving deep into the business world.
With expert insights and in-depth analysis.
The latest trends and developments shaping the country, region and the globe.
Key insights into finance.
On Money Matters.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m.
on TV3 and stream on Tonton. Kekal cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. The misuse of tourist visas by foreign nationals has been identified as the primary cause of counter-setting activities at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA Terminals 1 and 2. A source from the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, said that many groups of foreign nationals, particularly from Bangladesh, Nepal and Myanmar, would enter the country as tourists but work illegally. This led to the establishment of the counter-setting syndicate, which would bribe enforcement officers at both airport terminals to set up special counters so that these foreigners can enter Malaysia without going through proper checks. The source added that the syndicate also did not utilize the Foreign Workers Centralized Management System, FWCMS, which is designed to register and monitor foreign workers in the country. The fees charged for illegal work permits by the syndicates range from 6,000 to 12,000 ringgit. MECC Intelligence Division Director Dato' Zainul Darus confirmed the matter when contacted. The graft busters have been actively pursuing the counter-setting syndicate for over a month since the crackdown began. A total of 50 enforcement officers had been arrested, 49 from the Immigration Department and 1 from the police. A Bangladeshi company director, allegedly tasked with bribing the enforcement officers, was also nabbed on Sunday. Another investment scam syndicate has been detected using the name of a renowned firm based in the United Kingdom to dupe victims, resulting in losses of nearly 33 million ringgit. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department CCID Director Dato' Sri Ramli Muhammad Yusof said police have arrested 17 individuals believed to be members of the syndicate. According to Ramli, the syndicate had fraudulently used the name of Pantheon Ventures, a legitimate UK-based investment firm established in 1982 to mislead victims. He added that the 17 individuals detained comprised 16 men and a local woman aged between 23 and 52. They serve as directors of the company as well as agents seeking mule accounts for the syndicate. The syndicate conducts its operations entirely online, using Facebook and WhatsApp to advertise their schemes and communicate with victims and offering them bogus investment returns of between 6 and 400% daily.
Mangsa turut diyakinkan bahawa pelaburan mereka adalah terjamin dengan adanya bimbingan daripada cikgu trader, ini sifu trader, yang merupakan pakar dalam analisis pasaran modal.
The syndicate was also found to have been using 20 bank accounts involving 7 companies, 12 businesses and 1 private account. A total of 66 investigation papers have been opened since January. Authorities are now on the hunt for 7 more members of a syndicate. The case is being investigated under Penal Code for cheating. That concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Chilean wingsuit flyer Sebastian Alvarez made history after performing a world-first skydive to surf jump above Abu Dhabi's Hudayriyat Island. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for watching and stay safe.